Welcome to another episode here on A New Life in France. You'll see there's somebody else with me. Here's Jo with me today. And what we're going to be looking at today is we're going to be looking at visas. So this is a real complex and interesting subject that everybody gets a little bit stuck on, but lots of people will always go and look at properties. But we always say, check if you can come first. And the biggest thing you've now got to really understand is you've got to think about the visa process and what it is. So today we are going to be looking at the US visa process so that you can move to France. And Jo is an expert on this as well as many other things, and we're going to be talking about that today. So remember, it is a complex subject. We are here to just give you some guidelines, but also we are here to help you with that whole process. But we're just going to give you a few things to think about. Jo, talk to us about those in the US and, what is that process for them in terms of the visa? What are the different types of visas?
So the most common types of visa we have are the visitor visa for inactive or retired people, and then the working visas. So it will depend on your financial situation at the time of life you're at, whether you're moving over as someone who is retired or who still needs to continue working. There are other visa types as well, such as your talent or student visas, but those are less common than the first two I mentioned.
So take us through the retirees coming. What should they be thinking about and how can they go about getting their visa?
So the first thing to think about is how you're going to support yourself. With any visa application process, what they're looking for is how are you going to be able to fund your life in France so that you're not a drain on the French system. So looking at your resources, they have to be at a minimum level to prove that you can afford to live in France, and that changes annually. They call it the SMIC, which is the minimum amount required they deem per person per month to be able to live on. So you have to be able to show evidence of that. The evidence of that can be via pension statements, savings, investment income, etc. And of course, as part of the visa process, you're going to be asked to show that as part of your supporting documentation. So for the retirement visa, that's the first thing to consider. The next thing to consider is your healthcare. You will be required to have healthcare in place, and that has to cover you until such time as you can then be eligible, if you're going to be staying long term in France, to enrol into the French social system and apply for what they call the carte vitale, your health card.
And then what about those people who are then looking to move to work in whatever guise that is coming from the US?
So generally there'll be two different routes people can take. The first route is if you are coming to a job. So you will already need to have your offer of employment. And in those circumstances, the company or individual who's going to be employing you will have had to go through a process already, because they have to demonstrate that they can't employ anyone in France already who can do that role. And they will help as part of your visa application, getting you the necessary documentation to show that evidence for your visa application. The other option is coming over as a self-employed person. So you have to show a business plan, show again that through your business plan that you'll be earning enough to support yourself to the minimum wage level, and provide documentation on which that business plan has been based.
So let's say that somebody's watching this and they go, right, I want to do it. What are the next steps and how is the process and what do they need to do or go to or whatever?
So the French visa website, the government website for visas, will allow you to start your application process online. You fill out certain documentation. Once your pack online is complete, you are then given the opportunity to book an appointment at your local visa processing office. You prepare all your documentation to take to that meeting, and you hand it all over and hope you've prepared everything that's required for the particular visa type that you've asked for. One thing to note though, however, is that you do have to hand over your passport at that meeting, and they keep it while they're determining your visa. So you obviously can't travel in that period. Generally, it's 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes a little longer, depending on how busy the visa centre is, or the time of year it is, for example.
And talk to me then a little bit more about our process. So for us, we handhold, we concierge for our clients and take them through. What does that process look like in terms of the visa application? So if somebody's looking at this going really daunted by it and they want us to do it, what does it look like?
So we can obviously offer a number of different packages. Some people have started gathering documentation themselves, others won't have even started yet. So we can give lists of documents that need to be provided. We can then work with clients to decide who's going to do what. For example, business plans is quite a common one. We can work with people to help do their business plan if they're looking to come over as self-employed. If someone's coming over on an inactive or retired visa, the documentation in terms of the evidence needed is more straightforward, and clients will ask us to review it all and check that we're happy, that we think what they've provided is going to be acceptable as part of their application.
Perfect. So again, just one final thing, just run through very quickly then, if people are thinking about this, what maybe just be your top 5 things to think about before you even apply for your visa?
Firstly, thinking about your income and how you're going to support yourself. Secondly, making sure you've got your healthcare in place. Thirdly, start thinking about the area of France you even want to live in. That's a big decision as part of any move, obviously. And number 4, thinking about your belongings. If you're going to be bringing a lot with you, logistically trying to get them shipped, especially if they're larger items, is not always straightforward. And 5th, if you have any pets, obviously they don't need a visa application done for them, but there are certain protocols in terms of bringing animals into France and the European Union more generally that have to be followed if you're looking to do that.
Perfect. Great. Thank you, Jo, for that. So again, just a short and sweet piece on visas for those of you in the US looking to move to France. We are on hand to be able to help you with this. What we've also got as well, if you go into the description, you will find a link. You can actually download our guide to moving to France from the USA, and also a very special checklist as well that you can tick off to make sure you are ready to make that move to France. Remember, you can tune in each and every week and you will find information about moving to France. So it can be properties, it can be things about visa, driving license, whatever it happens to be, but we are here to help you as well. And do remember, press that subscribe button underneath and join us next time.